how I discovered that airplanes are secretly packed with life-saving features most passengers have no idea exist started with a moment that honestly scared the life out of me. Picture this. I'm sitting in a packed airplane at 35,000 feet, halfway across the country, sipping that tiny cup of airline coffee that somehow tastes like burnt optimism, when suddenly the plane hits a patch of rough turbulence. The seatbelt sign dings, the cabin jolts, and the guy next to me drops his phone and whispers, "Dude, that didn't feel normal." In that moment, I realized something wild. Millions of people fly every day, but almost nobody actually understands the aircraft they trust their lives to. We watch the safety demo like it's background noise, scroll through our phones, and assume the plane will just handle everything. But that day sparked a question in my head. What if there are hidden features on airplanes designed specifically to save our lives, and most of us never notice them? So I started digging. I talked to flight attendants, pilots, aviation engineers, and even a former aircraft safety inspector. And what I found absolutely blew my mind, because airplanes are basically flying survival machines filled with clever design tricks that could protect you in emergencies. And today I'm sharing the exact 13 hidden airplane features I discovered, features that could literally make the difference between panic and survival. But here's the crazy part. Most passengers walk right past them without noticing. Let's start with something you've definitely seen but probably never questioned: the tiny triangular stickers above certain airplane windows. Ever notice those little black or red triangles sitting above a few windows in the cabin? They look random, right? Like some weird decoration or maybe a manufacturer's logo. But here's the truth. Those triangles are actually secret markers for flight attendants and pilots. They line up perfectly with the aircraft's wings. During emergencies or mechanical checks, crew members use those exact windows to visually inspect the wing for damage, ice buildup, or fire. So if something looks wrong mid-flight, they know instantly where to look. Pretty wild that a tiny sticker can guide a crew during a crisis, right? Now here's another one that shocked me: the airplane seat headrests. You might think they're just there to make naps slightly less uncomfortable, but those little winged flaps on the sides, they're actually designed to protect your head during turbulence. Flight attendants call them earmuffs. When you fold them in, they stabilize your head so sudden jolts don't snap your neck sideways. It's a small detail, but during violent turbulence, it can prevent serious injury. And speaking of turbulence, here's something even more surprising. Airplane tray tables are engineered to support the weight of a human body. Sounds crazy, right? But during certain emergency situations, passengers may need to brace forward quickly. The tray table provides a stable surface to absorb impact. That's why flight attendants always say to stow it during takeoff and landing, because if it's not locked properly, it could actually become dangerous instead of protective. Now let's talk about something most people completely ignore: the small hole in airplane windows. Yep, the one that looks like a tiny pinhole at the bottom of the window. It's called a bleed hole, and it's one of the reasons airplanes can survive extreme pressure differences at high altitude. Aircraft windows actually have multiple layers. The outer layer handles the pressure, while the inner layer protects passengers. The tiny hole regulates air pressure between those layers so the window doesn't crack under stress. Without it, the pressure difference between the cabin and the outside atmosphere could literally shatter the window. So that tiny dot you've probably poked with your finger is actually an engineering lifesaver. Now, here's something even flight anxiety experts talk about: the airplane aisle lighting strips. Ever notice those glowing lines along the floor of the cabin during takeoff or landing? They might seem like simple mood lighting, but they're actually part of the emergency evacuation system. If the cabin fills with smoke or loses power, those lights guide passengers to the exits. And here's the key detail: they're placed low to the ground because smoke rises. That means even if visibility drops to near zero, you can follow the glowing path to safety. It's basically a built-in escape roadmap. And speaking of exits, here's something that completely blew my mind when a flight attendant told me. The handles on emergency exit doors aren't just handles. They're designed so that even someone with minimal strength can open them. Aircraft engineers balance the cabin pressure and mechanical leverage so the doors feel heavy on the ground but manageable during an evacuation. That's why flight attendants carefully brief passengers sitting in exit rows. In a real emergency, those people might become the fastest path out for dozens of others. Now, here's another detail hiding in plain sight: the airplane seat cushions. Believe it or not, many of them are actually flotation devices. If a water landing happens, passengers can pull the seat cushion out and use it to stay afloat. That's why flight attendants remind everyone during the safety demonstration. But here's the thing, most passengers never listen. I once asked a flight attendant how many people actually pay attention during the demo, and she laughed and said maybe 10%. That means 90% of passengers might not even know they're sitting on a life raft. Crazy, right? Now let's talk about airplane wings. If you've ever watched a wing during turbulence, you've probably noticed it flexing dramatically. It can look terrifying, like the wing might snap, but that flex is actually intentional. Aircraft wings are built to bend because flexibility absorbs stress. Engineers test them by bending wings upward until they reach extreme angles, far beyond what they'd ever experience in real flight. In other words, when you see the wing flexing, that's the airplane doing exactly what it was designed to do. Pretty reassuring once you know the science behind it. Here's another hidden feature most passengers overlook, the small axe stored in the cockpit. Yep, there's literally an emergency axe on many commercial airplanes. It's not for dramatic action movie moments. It's there so pilots can break through jammed doors or panels during emergencies like electrical fires. Aviation safety rules require tools that allow crews to access critical systems quickly. So somewhere in that cockpit is a tool that could help pilots fight a life-threatening situation. Now, here's one that flight attendants swear by, the airplane galley fire suppression systems. Airplane kitchens contain built-in automatic fire extinguishers. If a fire starts in an oven or trash compartment, sensors activate and release fire-suppressing chemicals instantly. It happens automatically before the crew even reaches the area, because in aviation, seconds matter. Fire is one of the biggest risks on any aircraft, so engineers design systems to stop it immediately. But wait until you hear this next one, because it's something you've definitely noticed but probably misunderstood: the airplane bathroom ashtray. Yes, ashtrays still exist in airplane lavatories, even though smoking has been banned for decades. Why? Because aviation safety experts assume someone might break the rules. If a passenger secretly lights a cigarette and needs to dispose of it quickly, the ashtray provides a safer option than throwing it in the trash, where it could start a fire. It's basically a backup plan for human behavior. And speaking of the lavatory, here's another hidden feature. Smoke detectors in airplane bathrooms are incredibly sensitive. They can detect even tiny traces of smoke within seconds. That's why you sometimes hear announcements reminding passengers not to tamper with them. They're designed to catch problems early, long before they become dangerous. Now, here's a feature I found fascinating when a pilot explained it to me: the small hooks on the wings near the emergency exits. If you ever exit onto the wing during an evacuation, those hooks are used to attach safety ropes that help passengers slide down safely. Again, something you'd never notice unless someone pointed it out. And finally, one of the most overlooked safety features of all: airplane seatbelts themselves. They might look simple, but aviation seatbelts are designed to withstand extreme force. During turbulence, they're often the single most effective way to prevent injury. That's why pilots constantly remind passengers to keep them fastened even when the sign is off, because turbulence can appear suddenly and those few seconds matter. So the next time you board an airplane, take a moment to actually look around the cabin. Notice the tiny triangle markers, the glowing aisle lights, the reinforced tray tables, the pressure holes in the windows, and the flotation seat cushions beneath you. These aren't random details. They're the result of decades of aviation engineering focused on one mission: getting you safely to your destination. And honestly, discovering these hidden features changed the way I fly forever. Instead of feeling nervous during turbulence or takeoff, I now see the incredible design behind every part of the aircraft. It's like realizing that the plane isn't just a vehicle, it's a carefully designed survival system. Now I'm curious, how many of these hidden airplane features did you already know about? Be honest, drop a comment below and tell me which one surprised you the most. And if you learned something new today, share this video with a friend who's flying soon, because you never know when this knowledge could actually save a life. And if you love uncovering the hidden secrets of travel, make sure you subscribe to Golden Age Travel Tips, because the next video might reveal something airlines never expected passengers to notice.